Sumati Mehta, you're a student in New York and soon going to university. I believe you have just returned from a model United Nations at Harvard. Can you give me a quick idea of your school and your interests, and then talk to me about the particular committee that you were in the Model United Nations, and something that is of particular interest to you and the issues of the United Nations?
Sure. I go to Rarely, which is a private independent school in New York City. It's an all-girls school. And at school, I'm really involved in the environmental group, BEAC, Rarely Environmental Action Committee, and Business and Financial Awareness. I'm head of both of those committees. And I'm also a part of the MUN delegation at school, and we travel to one large conference a year. So this year we went to Harvard. And at Harvard, I was in the Futuristic General Assembly, and we discussed climate modification and genetically modified organisms in the year 2020, and that was really cool because it incorporated all of my interests, which were international relations and economics and environmental sustainability. 2012,
in fact, is the year of sustainable energy, and the upcoming Rio +20 conference, as it's called, on sustainable development, carries the slogan, "The future we want." Do you have any strong feelings about what change would make the world a better place?
Definitely. I think in the next few years, the way that we use energy and our resources for energy are going to be really important. I mean, switching from coal to oil was a huge change in like the late 80s and 70s, and I feel like now switching from oil to more sustainable energy uses such as solar, like I said before, and wind and geothermal and everything is just going to be so important. And I know there have been a lot of drawbacks recently in the nuclear range, but I think that as forms of alternate energy, I feel like each alternate energy form should be specified.
Are part of the Model United Nations. You know the kinds of issues that the United Nations deals with. What are some of the things that you would like to see the UN do or do better on all or some of these issues?
I mean, I'm not entirely familiar with this, but I read about the Millennium Development Goals, and I know that they've really improved like the quality of life and living standards in a huge region of developing countries except in Africa. And just in my environmental sustainability class, we've recently been discussing the sub-Saharan African region and Monsanto and the genetically modified biotech firms. And I think what I would personally like the UN to see is less of an emphasis on sort of food aid and like US and superpower patronage, and more of like really trying to build the governments and developing economies.
Build the capacities of the people.
Build the capacity of these people.
Is there a link between democracy, human rights, and sustainable development? And here I'd like to bring in also a bit about women's rights, gender, because we talk about 50% of the world's population being women.
The key for any developing nation is that if it attains democracy and the people have a greater sort of
voice of the people.
If the people have a louder voice and they have more, access to the government and their desires are heard more, the government would definitely have to take action and try to attain a sustainable future. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Sumati. But I just would like, before we close, in one sentence, your formula for the future we want.
I mean, I definitely believe that having each country and sort of regional area utilize the best form of alternative energy, and ensuring that the youth of the future, gender regardless, are allowed a voice in their countries, and like the shaping of the country's future is really important. So.
Thank you very much, Sumati.